We are going live. All right, I think all the systems are a go. Welcome, 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 everyone. I'm Cassandra Terry, your manifesting miracle maker, and today is Wake Up Wednesday. Wake Up Wednesday. You're like, of course I'm awake. I'm up. I'm looking at you. But are you really awake? Are you mentally and emotionally awake? When we talk about being awake, we mean living with intention. And when you're living with intention, you are making choices. So we're going to get into it, but before we do, I want to introduce my fabulous fam five, the people that hold me up and will continue to grow and develop and walk this journey with me. And that makes every day so much sweeter. So we've got with us, let me give it in the order that I received it this morning, because especially since Brian was the first one in, we've got to recognize that, because being number one, our competitive brother. You did it, Brian. You're number one this morning. Brian Smart, Mr. Content, is with us. After Brian, we had his the person that's always pushing him to the finish line, Jay Pasqua. They always fight to see which one's going to be the first one to hit the stage. So welcome, Jay, the storytelling strategist. And next we have Denise Spiller. Oh, Denise, my sister from another mister. I'm so happy that you are here. And we can't wait to hear more about relentless writing, relentless travel, just relentless living, because Denise does everything with intention and with power and with integrity. So it's great to just have her with us. And if y'all missed it yesterday, y'all missed it, but it's recorded and it'll be back. Soul speaker, my brother Eric Clark is with us, and he shared his heart so intimately with us yesterday as he released his blunt force trauma collection. And I can't wait to get it in my hands. And I can't wait for you all to get it in your hands as well. So this is the crew coming with you guys on Wednesday morning, which, as I mentioned already, Wake Up Wednesday. We want to talk about being intentional. Toya, I see you there. Good morning. Good morning, mother. Y'all, my mama, now that y'all are here, she more faithful. I'm not even playing. She's showing up for the collective. She could magically forget. She was like, "Girl, I didn't know you were still that doing that. I didn't know you were still live every day." She hadn't missed a beat since since the Fam Five started doing this thing. She know what time we on, and she here bright and early, one of the first ones in the room. But I'm not jealous. I'm not jealous. But all I'm saying is she show up now, and sometimes she didn't before y'all, but that's okay. Tanya, good morning. Welcome to my whining session while I dig at my mom for a little bit. She's clapping her hands. She's not even concerned. She's my mama, if she's nothing, she genuine and she love her some Fam Five. So I'm glad I'm a part of it, right? Hello, Plantain. He said, hello, friends of peace. Oh, I love that. Yes, that's what it's all about, right? If what you're doing is not bringing you peace, then why are you doing it? I love that. Let's see. Hello, Sahar. It's great to see you there. Welcome, all of you guys from TikTok. It looks like the room is filling up. Thankful. I am right there with you. Gratitude is a beautiful way to start your day. So when you have that attitude, and you're starting with gratitude, things are going to be okay. Things are going to be okay because you're believing that. So welcome, welcome, welcome. My mama said, shame on you. No, shame on you. I'm not taking the shame today. I'm pushing it right back at you because you know I'm telling the truth. Now, that's my number one fan. That's why I can poke at her. Y'all saw she was ready to fight me yesterday for saying something almost not nice about myself. She does not play. Chevy truck built tough. Hey, look at you. Are you in Vegas right now? Is that where you're joining us from? It is so good to see you. That's my former. I'm not gonna say former, because once you're a member of our church, you're always a member of our church. But she moved and she left us. Texas wasn't big enough to hold us, so she had to go do other stuff. But it's good to see you. Good morning. All right, so let me bring up our quote for the day, and let's see if I can do this right. so everybody can see it. There we go. The tragedy of life is not that it ends so soon, but that we wait so long to begin it. And that's W.M. Lewis. Let that sink in for a minute. The tragedy of life is not that it ends so soon, but that we wait so long to begin it. W.M. Lewis. That one, when I saw it, I just had to grab it and share that with you guys, because at the end of the day, when you're living with intention, you're not wasting your time. You're not waiting. You are actually making choices, taking the steps necessary to create and live the life that you desire. So you're not waiting too long. You're not allowing life to just pass you by because you're going through the motions. Joseph, thank you very much, and thanks for joining us. So that I really wanted to share that quote with you all. The tragedy of life is not that it ends so soon, but that we wait so long to begin it. So that is the challenge for today. That's what I want to encourage you to do, to stop and take a moment to think about what's really important to you. What is it? How is it that you would like to see your life unfold? And I'll go for some dark for just a moment. But if you allow yourself to see the end of your life, and you've got those moments to contemplate, you know that the clock is ticking. It's ticking for all of us, but you're actually at that moment where you're preparing to transition. And you think back over your life. It's not going to be how many Gucci bags you had. It's not going to be how many square feet was in your house. But what is it going to be for you is the question. When it's time for you to give up this physical body and make that spiritual transition, and when you look back on your life, could you do that today and say that was a life well spent? I am pleased with the impact that I've left. I'm pleased with the relationships that I've formed. I'm pleased with the way that I've chosen to live my life. And when you can say that, it's not so much about the measure, the beginning and the end. We're talking about that dash, the time in between those two dates that we really don't control, typically. The day that we're born and the day that we leave, those days are chosen for us typically, right? So it's the dash, it's that time in between where we have the ability to make a difference. We have an ability. We're making choices every single day. But are you tapped in enough to realize that you're making choices? And are the choices that you're making allowing you to create the existence that you would like to have, so that when you hit that day, you can look back and go, I'm going to miss this earthly home. I'm going to miss my family. I'm going to miss my relationships. But man, my existence made a difference. It mattered. There's people that's going to miss me because of how I lived my life. Living with intention will get you on that track and keep you on that track so that you're generating the life that's important to you. And that's really what it's all about. It starts with awareness. You have to be aware and get real clear about what that is. What does that life look like? How do you want to show up? What relationships are important for you to have? Are you pouring into those, right? Those are questions that only you can answer, and answer them without judgment. Answer them as just data points, gathering the facts of how you're moving through your life and where you see things not unfolding the way that you have. Because you're aware, now you've got the opportunity to do something different. You can make deliberate, consistent choices that are going to change that. If it's not what you want it to be, now that you're aware, just tap in. What we typically do is we beat ourselves up, and it makes it even more difficult for us to get on track, because now we're dealing with the bad feelings on top of whatever else is going on. And I want to challenge you to throw that practice away. It nets you nothing at all. It doesn't help you get on track. It actually slows you down and makes the process that much more difficult. So when you're looking at yourself and how your life has unfolded and where you see it going, do it with grace. Give yourself grace and actually allow yourself to be brutally honest with yourself so that you can take an honest look at how things are going, how you're spending your resources, what you're doing with your time, or is you, excuse me, are you spending it the way that you would want? And if the answer is no, that's a point of celebration because now you realize, now you know, and you're in a position to do something about it. So then what do? You've got the awareness. Now you start to build a plan. What is the life that I would like to live? I'm here. I'd like to be there. Plot your course. Develop your plan. Put some real thought into it and think about how you're going to get from where you started to where you'd like to be. And then you put the action in place and you actually start to live that plan, right? It can be done. It feels overwhelming. So if it's a big jump from where you are to where you want to be, start to break it down. What am I going to do differently today? We have to be willing to do something differently if we want a life that's different than the one we have today. If you keep doing the same thing, expect the same results. So just start small. One choice. Sometimes we try to eat the whole elephant and then we choke and we get frustrated and we end up even farther back than where we started and we lose confidence in ourselves. One bite at a time. Identify what that one thing is that you're willing to do today that you weren't doing yesterday that's going to move you closer to your goals. Just one thing. And you do that consistently. And that becomes a part of how you move. It gets integrated into your life. Now it's a part of you, it's not something extra. So you're ready for the next bite. Then you take the next bite, the next step, and you do that consistently. And you integrate that into how you move. And guess what you do next? Figure out what's the next step. And you do that consistently and you until that's integrated. And before you know it, you're building healthy habits. You're creating new strengths in yourself and you're moving closer and closer to the end game, to where it is that you're trying to get. Make it simple. We complicate things. As humans, we make things so difficult. If we would just break it down to what's simple, one small choice, one step at a time, and the sky's the limit. You can have the life that you desire. So I wanted to share that with you guys this morning. I didn't know, I only picked the quote. And then after I read the quote, what comes up comes out. And so that's what came out today. I hope it was helpful for somebody. Brian, you were the first one on the stage. We've got the quote right there below us. So how does that grab you, or what is it that you'd like to share this morning?
Wow. Well, that quote and everything that you said is really surreal how that echoes everything that I talk about with building content strategy to build a business and build a brand. And brand, everything that you do with your content stems from the way that you live your life. And being able to take it one step at a time, knowing that end game objective, knowing that you're definite about where you want to go and what you want to do. It all starts right there. If you don't have that object in mind, that definite objective in mind, then you feel overwhelmed all the time. There's another Dr. Seuss rhyme. When you start to look at your definite objective, you can take it one step at a time because you know where you're going. You don't feel rushed, you don't feel pressured, you don't feel that anxiety, that worry, because you have a plan in place. And when you have a plan in place, you can step back and you can say, okay, this is what I'm going to do today, this is what I'm going to do tomorrow. And you don't have to eat the whole elephant at once because you know where you're going. If you look at it from that perspective, I really believe you will start to see things in a better light. Every day will seem more, it will seem less of a challenge. and more as an opportunity. You won't wake up feeling pressured. You'll wake up feeling empowered. You'll wake up feeling like I can conquer, I can do anything I want to do because you've got a plan in place. And it all starts with knowing where you want to go. That's how you get to one step at a time. When you're doing anything, and I keep saying that about content because content is organically generated from your life experiences. So if you're feeling pressured in life, if you're feeling like life is overwhelming, like you just can't handle what's coming at you, that's going to come across in your business. That's going to come across in your content. It's going to come across in the way you act with your customers and your clients. And believe it or not, it's going to kill your business. You have to start with living a life of desire. What do you want? Where do you want to go? How do you want to get there? And then start to make a plan to get there and take it one step at a time. If you haven't already done that, now is the time to start. Start with today. Look at where you want to go. Write it down. Take a snapshot of it and then start to move toward that direction one step at a time. That's all I got for today. Like the little girl says, that's it and that's all.
That's it. That's all. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. My mom is clapping her hands. My friend Nikki is clapping her hands. So you got, and where did Nikki say? Nikki's in Maryland right now, and my mom, of course, is in Texas. So you're lighting up the lines in the good old U.S. of A. this morning, Brian. So thank you for that. Let me see. We've got a couple of comments that I want to read before we go to Jay. Tanya said the important thing will be the impact I've had on others. So she was reflecting on at the end what's really going to matter. And she said, yes, Brian. So she's agreeing with you as well. Well, no, that was what, yeah, that was Tanya. And then Kelly says our impact reaches far beyond what we are even capable of understanding. Tanya added, we never have to be stuck. We can make a change and work towards the life that we want. And that's why awareness is so important because it's a liberating thing. Sometimes we see things about ourselves that we don't like and it just overwhelms us. I want us to think about that thing differently. When you find something that you want to be, that you would like to see go differently, you just put yourself in the driver's seat. You can now make different choices because of that awareness and move in the direction that's going to get you where you want to go. So uncovering those things, those blind spots, the areas in your life where you should be doing things differently, that's a good thing to become aware of. So please don't let that hold you back. Get excited and go, okay, I am more powerful now than I was before because I now have the opportunity to change my situation. I can place where I can make a different choice. And in making a different choice, I'm going to give myself the opportunity for a different outcome. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And I'm going to read your quote again, your share again, Tanya. We never have to be stuck. We can make a change and work towards the life we want. Thank you for adding that. And Platine says, Mr. Content, take one step at a time. So it's resonating. They're hearing what you said, brother. And with that, I'm going to read because I know everybody can't see us. The folks on TikTok and LinkedIn only have they can see me, but they can't see the rest of you guys in the quote that I'm sharing. And the quote is, the tragedy of life is not that it ends so soon, but that we wait so long to begin it. And that's W.M. Lewis. So with that, over to you, Jay.
Thank you. Uh, you know how I always start. I'm going to read a Bible verse. So, Proverbs chapter 21, verse 5. The plans of the diligent lead to profit, as surely as haste leads to poverty. And to me, this directly goes to what Cassandra was talking about intention and what you plan, not only for the day, not only for the week, not only for the month, but for the year and years to come. You have to plan. You have to be intentional. You have to think about what it is you're going to leave behind when we enter the kingdom. What can we give to our family, our friends, and humanity as a gift of what we've brought, the value that we've brought to our fellow man. And
Yeah.
so it's important, I think, that we recognize that, because we all come with gifts. And if we're not using those gifts, then we're not blessing others. And most importantly, we're not blessing ourselves, because we're not living in that purpose. We're not living in that intention. And so we have to really think about it. You have a purpose in your life, and you have a purpose in the lives that you impact. And so if we just go about our day ho hum and this is it, I'm going to do what I got to do and that's all. It's not. That's not all. So live in your purpose. Think about it. And the other thing about what I've gathered from that quote is patience, discernment, and maybe even divine timing.
Mm-hmm.
Because Gary Vaynerchuk, he's always encouraging people of all ages come to him, from young to older, right? And he tells them, if you're pivoting from being in corporate world or corporate America, and you're going to go now into owning your own business, but you think you're of an age that is past your prime. There is no past your prime. Now is the time,
Right.
right? So it's maybe not the time for you to go into that business right now. Things aren't aligning right now. But when it does, when it happens, it's going to pop off. But you don't know that. You have to be in that moment and be patient, and it will come. You have to have your faith, and you have to have that intentionality towards that goal. So I thought I'd bring that to the discussion today. Hope it helps
Love
somebody.
that. Love that. Love that. And the proverb that you read, would you repeat it? The plans of the diligent.
The plans of the diligent lead to
Mhm.
profit as surely as haste leads to poverty.
I love that. It's a perfect. It syncs perfectly with what we're saying. Poverty, and that's Proverbs. What's the verse?
It's chapter 21, verse 5.
Mm-hmm. 21:5. Love, love, love that so much. I wanted to capture it. The plans of the diligent lead to profit, and surely as haste leads. Oops, I got my 21 in there too, to poverty. It's Proverbs 21:5. I want to remember that one, so I had to save it. So thank you for sharing that with us, Jay. And next up, my sister from another mister, Miss Denise. Enlighten us. What's on your heart this morning?
Good morning. Good morning. You know, I had read this quote before. I've seen it before. And anything that starts with like the tragedy or a word like, if you never, it hits me different because immediately my brain is thinking, well, that's not going to be positive, right? Even though you got to read the rest, but it just hits me different. This one reminded me of when my daughter was like 5 years old. I only remember her age because she was in kindergarten. And I laughed. I told her about it. And she goes, I don't really remember that, but I sort of remember. And she said, so mommy, when you were my age, did you have a TV? And I said, yeah, we had television. And she goes, did it have color? And I was like, girl, like, you know, at 5 years old in kindergarten, how would she even have the thought to wonder if the television had color? So at her age, you know, a 5-year-old, even a 25-year-old is old. To a 10-year-old, a 30-year-old could be old. If you're 15, you're thinking, oh, a person that's 50, wow, they're done. They've lived their life, because it's from their perspective of this short span. So if I were to really embrace the words as they are, just as words, without reading in a little bit, well, I would think any age that I start could be too old to do something. If you're just out of high school, sometimes people tell you, oh, you know, you didn't do that, so it's too late to be that concert pianist. And it's never too late to start at any age. If I thought that it were too late, if I thought that I didn't start anything so soon, I would never be doing some of the things I'm doing now. And I watched this episode of a documentary where they were talking about people and their magnificent selves. That's where I sort of started using the word so much. And this 76-year-old woman had finished a marathon, and everybody was celebrating her. And she was on the local news, and everybody was like, wow. As she crossed the finish line, the local news was there, and they interviewed her. And she said in her she had this small little 76-year-old voice, and she was like, wasn't nobody gonna tell me I couldn't. She was so cute. And she went across, she was the last one going across, and everybody just celebrated her because she's 76, finishing a marathon with 20-year-olds or 30-year-olds or 40-year-olds. And nobody was going to tell her that she couldn't. So even if you wake up at any age, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and realize that maybe you've been living your life by the seat of your plans, like of your pants, and didn't have those plans, right? Maybe you haven't been intentional up until that moment. You can be intentional right now. It doesn't matter your age. There's no tragedy in discovering it late. So the only tragedy to me is not getting started at any age. Just do your thing, you know, go do your thing, and it won't be the tragic story. You can start being intentional right now, from today, from this very moment. And that's what that quote like tells me. It doesn't matter when you get started at any age, just get started. Just head towards the life of your dreams, whatever that means.
Love it, love it, love it. My mom said, come on, Denise. Y'all always taking her to church first thing in the morning. So it's resonating with her. And Plantain said, thank you, Mr. J, for the Bible scripture you have shared. No doubt you are a good student of God's word, the Bible. And Tanya added, I have had to shift my focus to the opportunities I have been gifted and have gratitude instead of on the lack of money. That abundance shift, seeing and walking in what you have, being focused on your gifts and what you're able to control and what you do have versus what you don't, is a game changer, guys. What we see is what we attract to ourselves, what we focus on, where the energy, where the focus goes, the energy flows. So if you're focused on what you don't have, that's all you can see. And your life will be miserable because all you're going to do is see lack, lack, lack. And it's so hard to just keep going. But if you decide to change your focus, I've seen people who have so little. I've seen people who, from a ability standpoint, they were at birth sometimes not given the things that we take for granted. I see people who can't see. I see people who can't. There are people who have no legs that compete in Olympics because the lack of some physical part of them did not destroy their mental. Their mental was, I can and I will, despite whatever else was going on. And because of that, they did. And we're no different. We're no different. If we shift to what we have instead of being focused and beaten down about what we don't, our lives will start to change immediately. Immediately. Because you're going to see the opportunities, you're going to be more creative and see how you can use what you have. And it just opens up a whole new way of thinking and being. So I want to encourage you to follow what Tanya just said and look in your own gifting. Your gifts are the answer. You are giving these abilities. You're drawn to certain things and certain people because that's where your gifting is. That's where your magic, your secret sauce lies. That's what makes you different than everybody else. We all have something that we're uniquely designed to do. And when we step in that, life changes. And the things that we do and the energy that we spend creating that is never time wasted. You can look back and Eric and I were talking before his interview, and he was like, man, me and my buddy, we were on YouTube every day. It wasn't nobody listening to what we were talking about. And I could have been frustrated and stopped. But instead, I realized that all that practice on YouTube when no one was listening prepares me to be on camera now when I have people that show up on a regular basis and are interested in what it is I have to say. I can deliver it because I practiced for a long time when no one was listening. So when that big moment comes and Eric is an overnight sensation to some, those of us who know him will be able to recall when he was on YouTube making his videos and making them for himself. Nobody was listening. And that's everybody's story. That's why we say comparison is the thief of joy, because all that many will see will be his success. So when you compare yourself to him in his success, you miss those hours of YouTube. You miss all those practices. You miss the sacrifices. You miss the struggle. You don't see the things that he went to get to that point. So you're not making a fair comparison. You may be comparing your day 1 to his year 12. So don't compare to anything other than your journey. I'm better today than I was last month. I can see the progress. I'm making it happen. That's the comparison. But understand that behind every overnight success is a struggle, is some sacrifice, is things that we're just not privy to. We're seeing the end results, not all the work they put in to get there. All right. So since Eric, I've already called your name, brother. Since we're talking about you anyway, why don't you go ahead and unmute and share with us what's on your heart this morning?
It's changed a number of times. And this happens when you go after Jay, which I don't know how that keeps happening to me, but it's happened once again. So I'm going to do my best to pull together what it is that is on my spirit. And so first, let me thank the Fam Five. I appreciate y'all every day showing up for yourself, showing up for this community. Wake Up Wednesday is a tradition now. It seemed like yesterday we were just talking like, hey, let's wake up. Let's make sure we support sis and we waking up. And now it's part of the day. And so this is for us as much as it's for everybody else. And I would be doing it if nobody was watching because of how much love we have for one another. And so shout out to y'all first and foremost this morning. Good morning. Good morning to everybody else in the audience. Thank you for joining us this Wednesday. I'm just going to reflect back and regurgitate a little bit of the love and the bars I've been hearing this morning, because to give more, I feel like I heard a quote once that we only can absorb 4 ounces of water at a time or something like that. So, you can go ahead and drink the gallon if you want. It's just going to pass through you. So I'm feeling like my cup is overflowing with gems this morning. The first one being just one bite at a time. That hit me like a ton of bricks this morning. Just one step at a time. Remembering one bite at a time. Slow down. Divine timing. I think that's something the best mindset coach in the world says all the time in Cassandra Terry. We must be mindful. Just take one step at a time and understand divine timing. This is not happening in your timing. This is not your show. This is not your show. So divine timing is happening. It's happening for you. Have faith. Keep showing up, showing out as yourself. working on yourself, and divine timing is happening. So one bite at a time, I thought was amazing. I love my Proverbs. I love Jay's Proverbs. I'm sure that's a hashtag that's coming if it hasn't already been put out there. But your gifts are yours.
Pasquale's Proverbs. Hashtag Pasquale's Proverbs. Yes, sir. It's out
It's
there.
exactly. So um, just understanding that your gifts are yours, and you've already made it. So that battle, that internal struggle, that is it's non-existent. We are we have already won that battle. That battle has been won for us. So just step into your greatness, step into your purpose, how you see that fit, and move accordingly. Own the space you in. Dr. Ava Brown said yesterday, she flexes in every space she's in. I thought that was the hardest bar I've ever heard. The hardest thing I've ever heard someone say. And she meant it. It wasn't just that she said it, but that she meant it. She flexes in every space that she's in. Take a second to breathe that in. Take those flowers in. That's where I'm trying to get to. I want to show up and be my greatest self in every space that I'm in and flex. Like that's shout out to Dr. Ava Brown. You still on my mind with that one because that was just incredible. That made me jump out my chair. And Sister Denise, just perspective, knowing that it's never too late to start. It's never too late to start. I published my 4th book yesterday. I'm almost 40 years old. Am I too old to be a publisher? Am I too old to write? Have I missed my prime because I started at 40? Have I missed my calling because I didn't start earlier? Not at all. Those are all negative, self-limiting beliefs that we say to ourselves when we're feeling low and down. And when we hear those things, like Sister Cassandra, the best mindset coach in the world, says all the time, say the reverse out loud in the mirror to yourself if need be. Whatever it takes. Stop those self-limiting beliefs, those self-limiting comments by speaking positivity into yourself, by surrounding yourself by positive friends and positive people who empower, support, pour into you. Uh, and that will become a result. What you take in, you will breathe out. And so inhale those flowers, like Sister Cassandra says, inhale those flowers. So the power of telling your story is the last thing I'll say. That's the last thing I wrote down that Sister Denise blessed us with. Tell your story, right? When you are able to reflect positivity and see yourself as the positive victor in your life, your story becomes that mess to message, right? Whatever you've been through, right? My mess is messy, but it's now my message. And so I don't look back at my mess with shame. I look back at my mess with value, with the lessons that I've learned, with the values that were learned, and value the relationships that were created and the bonds that are being formed, so I can move forward in purpose. And so that's what I have to reflect this morning. That's what I've received this morning, sister. I'm so happy to be here. Happy Wednesday, folks.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing. My mom said, yes, sir, divine timing. And Nikki said, that's good. So they're still vibing with us. We still have them resonating on what you guys are sharing. So I could not thank you all enough. Tomorrow, the Fam 5 will be Fam 4. Because I won't be here, guys. My wedding anniversary is coming up on Monday.
Yeah. We celebrating that.
24 years of Black Love. So we're headed out tomorrow morning for a long weekend, and we won't be back in town till Monday, which is our actual anniversary. So social media detox for your girl, so I can focus on that relationship and spending that time and enjoying the hubby. So I will be back on Tuesday. But that's the beauty of being a part of a collective. I don't have to play replays like I would typically do. The Fam 5 will show up and show out in my absence, and I probably am going to sneak in and listen a little bit, but not when he's looking. Jay said, no, I can't even do that. All right. The detox is I'm already mentally starting to detox. It won't be easy. But tomorrow is Thankful Thursday. It's a day of gratitude. Thank you for the anniversary wishes, Tanya, and everybody. Thank you, Nikki. Let's see, Joanne said others are lifted up through your testimony. So she's still resonating with your playback, Eric. So thank you guys so much. We will be back, or they will be back. Tomorrow is Thankful Thursday. Friday is Focus Friday. That's always a good day where we talk about focus. It ties really nicely with intention. And then Mondays, we're not on. And when we come back on Tuesday, it'll be all 5 of us again, if the Lord says the same. That is the plan. So we are going to leave you with the quote: the tragedy of life is not that it ends so soon, but that we wait so long to begin it. So I'm just telling you, with all the love that's in me, start living. Whatever your dreams are, start taking those steps towards them. Understand the life that really feels good for you, and then do what you need to do to create it. We only get this one life, at least in this physical body, to live. So make the most of it. Make the most of it. Now, there's no time like the present. Eric talking about starting at 40. I started at 54. And I'll be 56 soon. So no, it is not too late. This old girl is just getting going. I am just getting started. Everything that I've done up until this point is just to propel me to the next level. So as long as I'm kicking and breathing and smiling, there's something coming next. There's no too late until it is time to give up this body and move on to that transition. Kelly said, this has been great. Have a great Wednesday, everyone. Thank you, Kelly. Same to you. I see your happy anniversary, Afolayan. I know, Afolayan. I know I butchered your name. So hopefully I'll see you in a room and hear the correct pronunciation. But that's it, guys. Y'all enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Be intentional. Choose to enjoy it. And the things that are necessary in order for that to be true will happen. Choose joy. With that, we're going to call it. Thank you, Fam 5. We will be back here. They will be here tomorrow for Thankful Thursday. See you all then. Bye, guys.